his former wives, etc., have generated a kind of almost viral anticipation and demand, a sort of popular protest seeking clarity over the well-being of Imran Khan. Many of those protests in the last few days and weeks have turned violent as well. I suspect that the reason why Uzma Khanum is finally being allowed inside the Adiala prison in Rawalpindi is because the Pakistani government and Asim Munir, sensing that things could actually turn violent and become a kind of chain reaction of violence in different parts of Pakistan, has finally bent down and said, we will allow the sister inside. So now we're waiting to see what she comes out with.
Right, absolutely, Shiv. And like you also clearly said, that Imran Khan now perhaps stands as a stark symbol of Pakistan's descent into political repression and institutional decay. And like you also mentioned, that the government there might anticipate crowd there any kind of unruly behavior. So Section 144 also has been imposed. What more can we say on this very fact that after Uzma, his sister, meets Imran Khan, perhaps the speculation will come to an end on Imran Khan's health, because there were strong rumors also doing the rounds if Imran Khan was alive or not.
You know, I'm guessing that the very fact that Uzma Khanum, the sister of Imran Khan, is being permitted inside the prison pretty much confirms that Imran Khan is alive and not dead. We, of course, have to wait for a categorical confirmation on that. But the fact that she's being allowed inside the prison also perhaps suggests that Imran Khan is maybe not in good shape. He could be in the prison hospital. He could be in solitary confinement. But whatever it is, the Pakistani government has lost this tactical, war of brinkmanship between themselves and the Imran Khan family. The Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, which is Imran Khan's party, has been able to mobilize a huge amount of support for Imran Khan, not just in Rawalpindi, but beyond as well. They've been able to drum up a large amount of diplomatic heat on Pakistan as far as Imran Khan is concerned. And Asim Munir and Shehbaz Sharif, who've been touring the world in the aftermath of Operation Sindoor, trying to ingratiate themselves with Donald Trump and making absolute fools of themselves in different countries of the world, have now been domesticated, humbled, humiliated, and made to bow by a man sitting, inside a jail cell in, in very, very questionable health conditions. And I think this very much shows you how fragile the entire house of cards in Pakistan is. It is built on the suggestion of power. It is built on brute force. It is built on very, very tenuous insecurity of the powers that be, not least Asim Munir, who has just given himself a second promotion despite military loss to India earlier this year. But far and above everything else, Raisha, I think what today proves is that Imran Khan, maybe a controversial and a polarizing figure politically, and there are many things that he has done that India is not happy with. But within Pakistan, his popularity is sky high, and sitting inside a jail cell, presumably alive now since his sister is being allowed in, he has brought that entire political establishment to its knees and made them look extremely small, extremely humble today.
Right, Shiv, stay with us. We're also being joined by MD Umar Siddiqui, political analyst, joining us live from Pakistan. Mr. Siddiqui, what can you tell us about the political climate there in Pakistan? Section 144 imposed. Big question mark on where is Imran Khan. And the latest coming in is that after weeks of speculation, his sister is now being allowed to meet Imran Khan, perhaps putting an end to all kind of speculation regarding Imran Khan's well-being.
Yes, exactly. First of all, the thing actually is that the speculations have died now, and yes, Imran Khan is alhamdulillah alive. Okay, and his sister Uzma Khan has been allowed for the meetup with Imran Khan. So let's see what message she brings out. And yes, 144 was implemented, but yes, it was broken. So I think this was the pressure that made government to allow Uzma Khan to have a meetup with her brother Imran Khan.
Mrs. Siddiqui, but why the meet now after so much of anger there in Pakistan, after PTI supporters said that they will come out on the streets, they will protest outside the Adiala jail? Was the Pakistan government under pressure to take this step, or perhaps on the edge?
Yes, exactly. Actually, the thing was that government was actually frightened of a message, of any message, coming out of the jail, because it would have, an impact on the youth. So government was actually scared and frightened of any message from Imran Khan. So they were not allowing anyone to meet Imran Khan since then. So now the pressure has, the international media, when they said that Imran Khan has been, there is something wrong with Imran Khan right now. So I think this thing also, came up with some benefits for the youth of Pakistan. And now the sister of Imran Khan has been allowed for the meetup.
Vicky, thanks very much for joining us on NDTV and sharing your insights with us. Well, that's the big news that we've broken on NDTV first, that Imran Khan's sister, Uzma, will be meeting Imran Khan in the Adiala jail after massive speculation about Imran Khan's well-being and the fact if Imran Khan is alive or dead. Of course, after that meet, we will have a better clarity on Imran Khan's well-being. But before we go ahead, take a listen to what the sister actually said.
आपको इजाजत मिली क्या को खास पैगाम लेके जा रही है, क्या कहेंगी? इतने अरसे बाद मुलाकात हो रही जा रही है आज।
जाके पहले तो हम देखेंगे ना इसकी फिर
मुशावरत क्या हो रही थी आपस में?
आपको शर्त भी रखी गई है कि बात नहीं करनी आपने, कोई ऐसी शर्त?
अभी मैं वापस
मीडिया से बात नहीं करनी, तब आप
आपको इजाजत मिली क्या को खास पैगाम लेके जा रही है, क्या कहेंगी? इतने अरसे बाद मुलाकात हो रही जा रही है आज।
जाके पहले तो हम देखेंगे ना इसकी फिर
मुशावरत क्या हो रही थी आपस में?
आपको शर्त भी रखी गई है कि बात नहीं करनी आपने, कोई ऐसी शर्त?
अभी मैं वापस
मीडिया से बात नहीं करनी, तब आप
आपको इजाजत मिली क्या को खास पैगाम?
All right, another news, Kiran Rijiju is now speaking and the discussion on SIR and Vande Mataram. Take a listen.
मन से साफ सोच के साथ हम आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। सब मिलके हम लोग को संसद चलाना है, सरकार और विपक्ष मिलके ही सदन को चलाना है। ये जो कह रहे हैं कि पहले मान जाते, तो पहले से हम इसी बात को ही कह रहे थे कि इलेक्शन कमीशन का जो दायरा है वो बड़ा है, क्योंकि वो देश में पूरा चुनाव प्रक्रिया को आगे बढ़ाने में इलेक्शन कमीशन अपना भूमिका को अच्छी तरह से निभाती है। लेकिन उसका एक रूल्स रेगुलेशन है जो पार्लियामेंट ने ही बनाया है। पीपल्स रिप्रेजेंटेशन एक्ट है, वो भी पार्लियामेंट ने ही पारित किया है। तो जो बड़ा इलेक्शन रिफॉर्म्स का विषय होता है वो पार्लियामेंट को ही चर्चा करना होता है। जहाँ तक SIR का है, वो इलेक्शन रिफॉर्म्स का जब चर्चा होगी तो SIR का मुद्दा भी वो उठा सकते हैं। SIR जो है बेसिकली एक जो चुनाव आयोग का एक एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव डिसीजन है, एक प्रशासनिक व्यवस्था है जो उन्होंने किया है। उस पर भारत सरकार डायरेक्टली अपने सर पे नहीं ले सकता है हर चीज़ को, क्योंकि वो इंडिपेंडेंट है। इसलिए उसको हमने अलग तरीके से बात रखा था। अब जब हम सब मिल गए हैं तो मैं मानता हूँ कि अब पार्लियामेंट में जब इसका चर्चा होगी तो सब अपने अपने जो तर्क हैं वो रखेंगे और सरकार के तरफ से जो पक्ष है वो भी अच्छी तरह से रखेंगे। तो देश और दुनिया के सामने में क्लियर हो जाएगा कि इतना दिन से वो जो इल्ज़ाम लगाते हैं वो भी साफ़ हो जाएगा, क्योंकि इलेक्शन प्रोसेस, साफ चुनाव प्रक्रिया लोकतंत्र के लिए कितना ज़रूरी है और चुनाव सूची अच्छी होना चाहिए, सब मानते हैं। इसमें तो कोई दो मत नहीं होना चाहिए, तो अच्छा चर्चा होना चाहिए, मैं ये मानता हूँ। थैंक यू।
That was Kiran Rijiju, who said that the Speaker met floor leaders today on day 2 of the winter session of Parliament. And he further said that the debate on SIR will be taken up with the electoral reform debate, but did not commit to the timeline. Staying on with this story, the winter session of Parliament had a fiery start yesterday and it even continued today. That's day 2 of the winter session. Lok Sabha was adjourned. Opposition uproar over SIR yet again. The core demand of the demonstrating opposition MPs was a discussion on SIR. During the all-party meeting chaired by the Speaker Lok Sabha today, it has now been decided to hold discussion in Lok Sabha on 150th anniversary of national song Vande Mataram. That's from 12 noon on Monday. That's the 8th of December. And discussion on election reforms from 12 noon on Tuesday. That's the 9th of December. Union Minister for Parliamentary Affairs Kiran Rijiju said in Rajya Sabha. And well, before we go to that, Akhilesh Yadav is now speaking live. Let's just cut across and listen to what Mr. Yadav is saying.
इधर वोट में गड़बड़ी, वोट में हेराफेरी, वोटर लिस्ट में वोटरों की वोट चोरी, ये चीज इतनी जनता के बीच में चली गई कि अब मजबूरी में उन्हें एसआईआर कराना पड़ रहा है। याद रखना, ये एसआईआर अपनी नाकामी, अपनी कमियां छिपाने के लिए हो रहा है। अच्छी बात है कि एसआईआर में हम भागीदारी कर रहे हैं और मैं अपने एक कार्यकर्ता का धन्यवाद देता हूं कि जो पीडीए प्रहरी बनकर के वोटर लिस्ट ठीक कर रहे हैं जी। मैं एक बार फिर अपील करूंगा कि अपने मतदाता आम लोग मिलकर के वोटर लिस्ट को ठीक करें, अपना वोट बचाएं, कटने से बचाएं, जुड़ने के लिए मेहनत करें। कागज ढूंढना पड़ रहा है, डेट ऑफ बर्थ है या और कागज ढूंढने पड़ते हैं, वो सब ढूंढ करके वोट बढ़ाएं। लेकिन दुर्भाग्य बात ये है कि जिस आधार कार्ड को सरकार ने ये कहा कि हमारा पहचान का कार्ड होगा, हम रजिस्ट्री कराने जाएं, बैंक का अकाउंट खोलने जाएं, हम कोई और पॉलिसी से जुड़ना चाहें, पासपोर्ट बनवाना चाहें, ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस बनाना चाहें या किसी कागज को जब हम भरते हैं तो सरकार आधार मानती थी। और सोचिए अब आधार को ही ऐसा कर दिया कि आधार किसी लायक नहीं बचा, उसका आधार ही खत्म कर रहे हैं। ये साजिश षड्यंत्र इसलिए है कि सरकार सच्चाई से डरती है, हर आंकड़े में हेराफेरी करती है, लेकिन हम मजबूती से काम करेंगे और लोकसभा में ये बात रखेंगे कि किस तरह भारतीय जनता पार्टी बेईमानी करने पर उतर आई है।
सर, कप सिरप पे आजमगढ़ कनेक्शन जुड़ गया है, जो कप सिरप है वो आजमगढ़ से कनेक्शन जुड़ गया है, जो कप सिरप है वो आजमगढ़ से कनेक्शन जुड़ गया है, जो कप सिरप है वो उस पे आजमगढ़ से कनेक्शन जुड़ गया है, ऐसा बताया जा रहा है।
मैं आपसे कहूँगा अगर खांसी हो तो जो देसी दवा है ना, गुड़, सौंठ या अदरक या लौंग, काली मिर्च, उसका इस्तेमाल कर लेना जी। लेकिन बीजेपी की सरकार में ये जो आ रही है कप सिरप जी, इससे बचना जी। इसलिए बचना कि कुछ लोग इसमें मुनाफा कमा रहे हैं। अभी तो स्कीम चल रही थी 1 डिस्ट्रिक्ट 1 माफिया जी। ये ODOP नहीं है, ODOM है ये, 1 डिस्ट्रिक्ट 1 माफिया। अभी तो हम लोगों ने खोजबीन करके जी भारतीय जनता पार्टी के भाजपा माफिया जीवी के सहारे और इनके संगी साथी मिलकर के ये जो बड़ा काम कर रहे थे और हमें आपको बदनाम करते थे, सच्चाई तो ये है कि महागुंडा राज चल रहा है इस समय। ये जो गुंडा राज वो बदनाम करते थे।
All right, and that was Samajwadi Party MP Akhilesh Yadav, who clearly said that the government is hiding failure through SIR and vote theft issue is now resonating with the people of India. He further went on to say, don't let them scrap your votes. And he, of course, was adamant and he made it clear that the SIR issue should be discussed during the winter session of Parliament. Let's also now listen in to some other reactions on day 2 of the winter session of Parliament. Take a listen.
कल भी हमने अनुरोध किया, आज मैं फिर से करना चाहता हूं। देश में कई मुद्दे हैं, किसी भी मुद्दे को हम छोटा नहीं मानते हैं, लेकिन संसद नियम से तरीके से चलते हैं। एक मुद्दे को लेकर के बाकी मुद्दों को आप दबा नहीं सकते। इसलिए इस सदन में कई पार्टी से छोटे छोटे पार्टी के सदस्य भी हैं, एक एक पार्टी के एक सदस्य का भी यहाँ मेंबर है। सबका बात सुनना चाहिए। 2-4 पार्टी मिलकर के संसद को आप ठप करेंगे, ये बिल्कुल ठीक नहीं है। चुनाव में सभापति महोदय, ये लोकतंत्र है, हार जीत होता है। मैं भी चुनाव में हारा हूं, अटल जी भी पहले चुनाव हारे थे, लेकिन हारने से बौखलाहट होकर के गुस्सा आप यहाँ पार्लियामेंट में आप पूरा निकालेंगे, ये तो ठीक नहीं है। यहाँ देश के मुद्दों को लेकर के चर्चा करने के लिए हम सब आए हैं। मैं फिर से कहना चाहता हूँ, आप ऐसे हरकतें करने की वजह से जनता का विश्वास आप खोते जा रहे हैं। मैं आश्वासन देता हूँ, चाहे इलेक्शन का रिफॉर्म्स हो, कोई भी मुद्दे हैं, हम पीछे नहीं हटेंगे। देश का कोई भी मुद्दा हम चर्चा के लिए तैयार है। हमने कुछ प्रमुख अपोजिशन लीडर्स को बुलाया है। मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि ये अभी तक जो हंगामा किया है वो ठीक नहीं है, आगे और ना करें, इसका मैं अपील करता हूं। और मैं अपोजिशन के लीडर से बात करने के लिए पेशकश किया हुआ है और वो आने वाले भी है। हम बात करके कोई रास्ता हम निकल करके सबका बात हम सुनेंगे, आपका भी बात हम सुनेंगे, सरकार का भी आप सुनना है। लेकिन यहाँ नारेबाजी लगा करके जो आप लोगों ने दृश्य पेशकश किया है, ये ठीक नहीं है। इसलिए मैं आपसे अनुरोध करता हूँ कि आप संसद का गरिमा को बनाए रखें और चर्चा के लिए हम लोग तैयार हो जाइए।
SIR is going fast and nearly 12-13 people have died and BOL 28 people have died. Sir, this is an urgent matter to save democracy.
You put your words. I will ask the government to respond.
I want discussion should take place now only, and in the interest of democracy, in the interest of citizens, in the interest of the country. Whatever the agenda or whatever the agenda is put before the House, it should get priority over 267. 267 says that the all other issues should be kept aside and first preference should be given to 267 discussion. That is important. That's why we request, sir, you give us permission to start discussion on 267, that SIR, and we are read.
More than 14 opposition parties want a discussion on a particular issue because people are dying because of SIR, suicides.
SIR कोई मुद्दा ही नहीं है, क्योंकि बिहार में राहुल गांधी और तेजस्वी यादव और प्रियंका जी और पूरे देश के लोग, हर पार्टी के लोग जाके हंगामा करके देख लिया, कोई साक्ष्य नहीं दिया। और चुनाव आयोग ने बिहार में ऐसा चुनाव कराया, एक बूथ पे भी रिपोल नहीं हुआ। अगर हिम्मत होता राहुल गांधी में तो SIR के खामियों को ले जाके देते ना।
चर्चा चाह रहे हैं अंदर पार्लियामेंट का अंदर। हमारा मांग यही है, SIR का ऊपर इलेक्टोरल इश्यूज़ का बारे में चर्चा होना चाहिए। उस चर्चा का मांग करते हुए हम बाहर प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं। हमारा मांग अंदर जाके मांग यही होगी, चर्चा के लिए मांग करेंगे।
लेकिन यह भी कल प्रधानमंत्री द्वारा इशारे शहरों में कहा गया था कि नारेबाजी के लिए आ जाएगा नहीं है, ड्रामा मत कीजिए, डिलीवरी कीजिए, नीति पर बात कीजिए।
ड्रामा मास्टर ने ऐसे बोला था। ड्रामा मास्टर ऐसे बोल सकते हैं, हर किसी चीज़ का उनका ड्रामा लगती है, क्योंकि वो ड्रामा में ही जीते हैं। हमारे लिए ये लोगों का अधिकार का मामला है, वोट का अधिकार का बचाने के लिए हमारा लड़ाई है।
पोजीशन is driven by Modi BJP government. They do not want to answer anything. So we have no option except doing some dharna inside and outside the parliament. This is what is happening every day. What is our demand today? We want some discussion on SIR. This is in democracy, discussion is the primary thing, fundamental thing in parliament, by which people will come to know what is happening in India about SIR.
देखिए, हमारा विपक्ष मुझे लगता है कि क्लूलेस है। बिहार की जो करारी हार है, उस हार को वो हजम नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, जबकि उन्हें दूसरी बार तीसरी बार ऐसी बार बार हार मिल रही है, तो उनको थोड़ा सोचना चाहिए और विचार करना चाहिए कि क्यों कांग्रेस का और अपोजिशन का हाल ऐसा हो रहा है। तो वो सोचे बिना वो लोग किसी दूसरे और तीसरे चीजों पे, वोट चोरी जैसे फालतू के आरोप, जबकि उनके ही टीम के जो लोग हैं, वो जैसे आईपैक वाले आपके प्रशांत किशोर हो गए, वो वोट चोरी के ऊपर विश्वास नहीं करते। योगेंद्र यादव जी हो गए, वो वोट चोरी के ऊपर विश्वास नहीं करते।
देखिए, ये तो एक नॉर्मल हो गया है पिछले 10 सालों में कि सदन चले ही ना। और आप रिकॉर्ड जरा निकाल के देखिए, ऑलरेडी हाउस की सिटिंग्स, नंबर ऑफ सिटिंग्स भी रिड्यूस हो गई हैं और अंदर हाउस में मसा 50% प्रोडक्टिविटी में चल रहा है। तो अब ये तो हर एक सांसद को पता है। मुझे लगता है हाउस देखें आप कितने खाले, आधी लोग तो आते, जिन्होंने अंदर शोर मचाना है वो तो आते हैं क्योंकि उनको अंदर वेल में जाना होता है, लेकिन हमारे जैसे लोग सोचते आना ही किस लिए, जब हाउस चलेगा तब आएंगे अपने क्षेत्र को छोड़ के। सो ये कोई अच्छी बात नहीं है, दुख की बात है। और ऑपोजिशन को अपने मुद्दे उठाने के लिए उनको टाइम देना चाहिए, क्योंकि वो भी लोगों से इलेक्ट होकर यहाँ पे पहुंचे हैं।
What is the next strategy now as far as the discussion on SIR is concerned?
See, everyone knows very well that the opposition parties want to discuss about the electoral reforms in the parliament, because the SIR process that is going on across the country has created too many number of apprehensions. What may happen to democracy, whether genuine voters will be deleted, whether voters who are not eligible will be included. All these questions are there. And for example, in Bihar, when 64 lakh of voters were removed, that showed an example. And then now the 12 states are going on. Many BLOs and other people have died also. The number says 50.
Discussion on SIR, electoral reforms, what is the main issue?
SIR, electoral reform, all are one. Electoral reforms is
But the government is assured now that the discussion will take place. What's the
government says that we will have it later, sometime, not.
They want discussion first to take place on Vande Mataram, completion 150 years.
They say that, but about us, we say this is a burning issue. Vande Mataram, yes, we can discuss. It's not a burning issue. It's something to be celebrated, very emotional issue. We also have an equal role in that. So we are prepared to participate, but which has to be given priority. That's the question.
देखिए, ये एक तरह से कह सकते हैं कि SIR का पैच टेस्ट, जो लिटमस टेस्ट होता है, वो बिहार में हो चुका है और बहुत खूबसूरती से लोकतंत्र को इलेक्शन कमीशन ने मजबूत करने का काम किया है और भारतवासी का जो मतदान का अधिकार है उसको और मजबूत करने का काम किया है। पिछले सत्र में भी हम लोग देखे थे कि SIR के मुद्दे पे ये लोग सदन चलने नहीं दिए थे और उसके बाद बिहार चुनाव हुआ और बिहार की जनता ने इनका जो ये व्यवहार है उस पे आप कह सकते हैं कि इनको करारा जवाब मिल चुका है, लेकिन उसके बाद भी इनके एटीट्यूड में कोई चेंज नहीं आया है।
इस तरीके से SIR किया जा रहा है, उसमें BLOs को इतना हेवी टारगेट दिए जा रहे हैं कि स्ट्रेस के मारे उनकी जान जा रही है, तो क्यों नहीं वो आज का चर्चा का विषय होना चाहिए। आज ही अखबार में आया है कि इलेक्शन कमीशन ने भी कहा था, इलेक्शन कमिश्नर ने अपनी आपत्ति की थी नोट में, तो क्यों इस पर चर्चा नहीं होनी चाहिए। जो देश को प्रभाव करता है, असेंबलीज में प्रभाव डालता है, पार्लियामेंट में प्रभाव डालता है इलेक्शन कमीशन का रोल, और इलेक्ट्रल रिफॉर्म्स अगर होने चाहिए तो, पर इनको नहीं करना है क्योंकि ये जानते हैं चोर की दाढ़ी में तिनका है और अगर इस पे चर्चा होगी तो इनके जो सारे झूठ हैं, जिसको ये सफाई से सच्चाई मानने की कोशिश करते हैं और इलेक्शन कमिश्नर से अपनी स्क्रिप्ट पढ़वाते हैं, वो भांडाफोड़ होगा।
All right, to decode all that's happened on day 2 of the winter session of Parliament, I'm now being joined by my colleague Akhilesh. Akhilesh, it's day 2 of the winter session of Parliament, and yet again SIR has dominated the discussion there. While Kiran Rijiju a short while ago said that the issue of SIR will be discussed. He failed to issue any kind of timeline on that. Talk to us more on that, and also on the fact that will there be any fruitful discussion, or will we only see adjournments taking place moving forward?
Well, hopefully from tomorrow onwards, the House should function normally, because the consensus has been reached between the government and the opposition to conduct a discussion on the wider issue of electoral reforms. See, the issue was that the government was very keen that the House should not discuss the issue of special intensive revision, which is in the exclusive domain of the Election Commission of India. In fact, there's a ruling by ex-Speaker Balram Jakhar that administrative decisions of the Election Commission of India cannot be discussed in Parliament. So the government's point of view was very clear. On the other hand, the opposition wanted the SIR should be discussed. So the middle ground has been found now, and the compromise has been reached that there will be discussion on wider issue of electoral reforms, and the opposition leaders can actually bring in the issue of SIR into that discussion. So that discussion will take place from Tuesday onwards, and 10 hours have been allotted as far as the issue of wider electoral reforms is concerned. And apart from that, there will be discussion on Vande Mataram, because the country is celebrating 150th year of Vande Mataram, India's national song. And on Monday, this discussion will take place in Lok Sabha. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is likely to speak on the issue of Vande Mataram. So now the consensus has been reached between the opposition and the government. And as I said earlier, that from tomorrow onwards, it is expected that House should function normally.
Right, Akhilesh, after 2 days of ruckus, consensus reached between the opposition and the government on debate on two issues, SIR and Vande Mataram. But Akhilesh, also talk to us about how the government is planning to introduce 13 legislative bills and 1 financial bill during this session as well.
Well, it's a very ambitious agenda of the government to take the reforms forward, because after the Bihar win, which is a massive win of the NDA, the government is more confident to push ahead with the economic reforms. We have seen that the 4 labor codes, which were pending for the last 5 years, now have been notified, and the rules will be notified shortly. So this is one of the biggest reforms as far as the economic agenda is concerned. And apart from that, the government has lined up various bills to push ahead with the economic reforms and other reforms also. So big reforms like we'll see is allowing private sectors to produce atomic energy. That is going to be a very big bill which is lined up in the winter session of Parliament. And apart from that, there are some bills related to GST and excise which have been tabled by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in Parliament. One bill is already passed. This was passed amid din. But the government is now hopeful that the deadlock has been resolved between the government and the opposition. All other bills will have a fruitful discussion, and the point of views of all the party members, of different members of the different parties, they can actually come forward and put their point of view, because these reforms have very wider significance as far as India's economy is concerned. One of them is also allowing 100% FDI into insurance sector, which will bring a lot of transparency and foreign investment into the insurance sector.
Right, Akhilesh, thanks very much. That was my colleague Akhilesh Sharma joining me live from Vijay Chowk. All are staying on with stories from the winter session of Parliament. Well, a day after, Congress MP Renuka Chaudhary briefly brought a puppy into the complex and took a jibe at MPs and Rahul Gandhi in a candid exchange with reporters outside Parliament on the issue, said maybe pets are not allowed here. BJP has now slammed the Congress MPs. Take a listen.
जानवर को पसंद नहीं करते है ना सरकार, गूंगा जानवर गाड़ी में चले गए तो इनको क्या तकलीफ है? काटने वाला कुत्ता दिखा क्या? इतनी सी तो है, काटने वाले और है पार्लियामेंट में, कुत्ते नहीं।
क्या कर दिया बेचारे कुत्ते ने? यहाँ आया था क्या?
हाँ सर, यही आया।
अलाउड नहीं है क्या?
ऐसा कोई रूल बुक में नहीं है, बट
पेट अलाउड नहीं है। पेट अलाउड नहीं है, पेट अंदर अलाउड नहीं है।
इस प्रकार विवेक को दरकिनार करके रेणुका चौधरी जी ने जवाब दिया कि असली डसने वाले और काटने वाले पार्लियामेंट में बैठे हैं, सरकार चलाते हैं। मुझे दुख लगता है कि कांग्रेस के हताशा का स्तर यह हो सकता है कि उनके सांसद इस प्रकार की भाषा का प्रयोग पार्लियामेंट के अंदर बैठे अपने साथियों के लिए कर सकते हैं।
Shifting our focus to Karnataka, flowers, shawl and nati chicken. Well, we are talking about breakfast diplomacy, which is back on display in Karnataka. Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar hosted Chief Minister Siddaramaiah for a second breakfast meet in a week. The last time they met was on Saturday. A power breakfast meet under most other circumstances might seem normal, but this meeting was not between the Chief Minister of Karnataka and the Deputy Chief Minister. The two Congress leaders have been squabbling over the Chief Minister's post since the 2023 election. D.K. Shivakumar, along with brother D.K. Suresh and senior leaders, welcomed the Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah at DKS's residence, where the breakfast took place earlier today. A menu with political messaging, idlis, coffee and Siddaramaiah's favorite nati koli. It's perhaps a country-style chicken curry. NDTV accessed inside details of the breakfast meet. Sources claim the Congress High Command wants the situation in control and wants to perhaps project a united front, post which the duo, they did show unity, with Chief Minister Siddaramaiah clearly saying, and I'm quoting him here, they are united and we will follow the High Command's call. While DKS, Deputy Chief Minister, reaffirmed commitment to good governance and Karnataka's growth and development. New video of Siddaramaiah saying politics not permanent to an MLA has now gone viral. Meanwhile, sources tell NDTV that the Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister may fly from Belgavi to Delhi on December 8th. However, this plan is still being finalized. Listen in to the political reactions after the Breakfast 2.0 meet between Siddaramaiah and DKS.
Whatever decision we have already taken in the breakfast meeting that I have invited, that we shall, both of us, should listen to the whatever decision taken by the High Command. Whether it is mostly Rahul ji and Sonia ji and Karge ji. All our MLAs are united. Unitedly will face the opposition.
Sir, any timeline, anything that has been communicated, sir?
So far, no communication.
Will you all be going to Delhi, sir, to meet the High Command? You and sir? Sir, will you be
if
going?
They call us, we will definitely go.
Sir, you're meeting Mr. Venugopal, sir, at an event. Would you be asking him about when they're likely to call you?
Tomorrow, I'm meeting Venugopal in a function where both of us are invited.
It is only temporary arrangement because on the 8th there is assembly session is going on in Belgavi. For that purpose, temporarily they break with a breakfast. So it is no permanent solution, and all the development work is standstill in Karnataka, and welfare schemes are not implemented, and amounts is not releasing for the works of the done by the contractors. So, and the farmers are sitting anyway everywhere, and government is not at all taken in because of their infighting. It is going on. No breakfast, any breakfast or anything. It will not work out.
Where will this go, sir, from here on?
No, High Command has to intervene and take the decision. The interest of the Karnataka people. But if not, then I think it may collapse the government also.
ವಾರ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ತಾನಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದು ಕರೆ ಏನು ಸುಳ್ಳೇನಿಲ್ಲ ಏನು ವಿಷಯ ಒಂದೊಂದು ವಾರ ಏನು ಯಾವ್ದು ಒಂದು ಫುಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಇಡ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ 5 ಸೇ ಎಸ್ ಅವ್ರ ನೋ ಏನು ಮಾತುಕತೆ ಆಗೈತಿ 5 ಸೇ ಒಟ್ಟು ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸವಿಸ್ತಾರವಾಗಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ವಾರ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಏನು ಉತ್ತರ ಸಿಗ್ತೇವೆ ಅವ್ರ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಉತ್ತರ ಸಿಕ್ಕತ್ರ ನಾವು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ವಾರ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕೊಡ್ರಿ ಅವ್ರ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಏನು ಉತ್ತರ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ ಬಟ್ ನಿನ್ನೆಯಿಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ
परसों ब्रेकफास्ट हुआ, आज जो ब्रेकफास्ट हो रहा है वो तो सिर्फ एक टीज़र है, वो एक टीज़र है। पिक्चर अभी बाकी है। थोड़े दिन में पिक्चर रिलीज़ हो जाएगा तो कांग्रेस का जो हालत है वो तो रिलीज हो जाएगा। लेकिन हमारा कंसर्न यही है कि अगर ये दोनों ने एक दूसरे की ब्रेकफास्ट के में टाइम लगे रहे तो लोगों का भलाई के लिए कौन टाइम देगा? सीएम और डिप्टी सीएम अपनी कुर्सी, एक तो कुर्सी आपका उनका बरकरार रखने के लिए कोशिश कर रहा है, दूसरा तो खींचने के लिए कोशिश कर रहा है।
No, it's a good thing that our leaders are getting together again. Normally have the CLP meeting, and CLP meeting we normally have dinners after the meeting, and that's about it. So there is nothing wrong in it, and we also feel that everything is going smoothly.
All right, so those were the political reactions coming in from Karnataka on the Breakfast 2.0 meet between DKS and Siddaramaiah. Let's now tell you more about who said what, because this meet was the second in the last 3 days. First up, Siddaramaiah today said, "We'll meet the High Command if I get a call." Meanwhile, DK Shivakumar also said, "We reaffirm our commitment to good governance." The next statement by Siddaramaiah, "This understanding will always be there. There are perhaps no differences." DK Shivakumar also outlined the same sentiment like the Chief Minister of Karnataka, saying that we are one. Lastly, Shivakumar will be the Chief Minister when Congress High Command decides. And the Deputy Chief Minister there has said, "We are working like brothers, no groupism in Congress." So clearly there seems to be united front put across by both the Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka. Well, amid reports of rift in Mahayuti and Maharashtra, first phase of Maharashtra local body polls are underway. Tensions flared in Badlapur on polling day after clashes broke out between two groups outside the local police station. The confrontation involved workers of the BJP and the Shiv Sena, leading to a heated exchange. Meanwhile, Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar condemned all these violence taking place there ahead of the polls, and said that violence has no place in democracy. He also stated that alliance dharma should be followed by all. Shiv Sena contestant Nisha Thakre is contesting against BJP candidate Ramesh Solse in Badlapur. And well, for more on this, my colleague Anuj is now joining me live. Anuj, tell us more about the rift that we are seeing within the Mahayuti alliance due to the local body polls there in Maharashtra, with the other alliance party members accusing BJP, or perhaps telling BJP that the party should be following coalition dharma.
You gave one example of a rift, but to be honest, such kind of reports are coming out from every part of the state. And, very interestingly, it's not the opposition, that is the Mahavikas Agadi, who is trying to show any sort of a mettle after their, pretty much embarrassing defeat in last year's Vidhan Sabha elections, but it is the three ruling partners in the Mahayuti government who are fighting it out against themselves at multiple levels. Now, interestingly, the heads of all of these three parties, who are also the Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Ministers of the state, have been asked this question repeatedly, but all of them have talked about how it's election for workers and no sort of criticism in these rallies, or no sort of quote-unquote conflicts in these rallies reflect any sort of murmurs of disagreement within the larger unit of Mahayuti. However, the experts also claim that this is enough for us to see what lies ahead, especially after the local polls and more importantly, after the BMC polls. Now, it's important to understand that these are only the smaller municipal corporations that are going to the polls today. The larger municipal corporations, the urban parts, including Nagpur, Mumbai, Nashik, Pune, Kolhapur, all of these big cities, they are yet to go to floors as far as election is concerned. And a lot of political pundits state that there might be a massive change between the structure of Mahayuti, given the fact that the quote-unquote need for Eknath Shinde's Shiv Sena may not be there, given that the BJP's chances of acquiring most of those regions is likely, at least as of now. So the event that you talked about today happened at around in the early morning hours today in Badlapur, where the son of Mr. Sherke, who is the official candidate from the BJP, was allegedly beaten up by the workers of the opposition leader, whose name is Nisha Thakre from the Shinde Sena. important to understand that he's not related to the Thackeray family. However, that small conflict led to a massive political case and has been talked about everywhere across the state. Back to the studio.
Right, Anuj, thanks for getting us the latest there from Mumbai. All right, on that note, we slip into a very short break, but come right back. Lots lined up for you here on Prime 5 with me, Raisha.
Namaste, India. As you all know, I've been traveling around the world with my music. But this one is truly special. Something that's India. You all must have seen the magic that was created in Kun Faya Kun. Now it's your chance to experience it with me. So book your tickets from District app and together let's create harmony of hearts. See you, Delhi.
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
Welcome back. You're watching Prime 5 with me, Raisha, in yet another news. Days after triggering social media backlash by recreating Rishabh Shetty's intense Daiva Chabundi scene at an event, Ranveer Singh has now issued a sincere apology on his Instagram story. Ranveer's over-enthusiastic imitation of the climax scene did not sit well with the internet. He had imitated the climax scene on stage at the closing ceremony of the International Movie Festival of India in Goa, where he referred to the Devi as a female ghost. As soon as the video went viral, Ranveer Singh faced massive backlash on social media. After a huge backlash, Ranveer earlier today issued an apology. He wrote, and I'm quoting him here, "I have always deeply respected every culture, tradition and belief in our country. If I've hurt anyone's sentiments, I sincerely apologize." And that was
I saw that in the theatres, Rishabh. It was an outstanding performance, especially when the female ghosts gets inside your body. That performance, that one shot. Did you see Kantara, sir? You saw it? What shot that he gave? That one. Anybody here want to see me in Kantara 3? Tell this guy.
All right. In yet another news, Delhi High Court on Monday passed an order asking the Central Board of Movie Certification, CBFC, to take into consideration the concerns raised by the parents of late Ashok Chakra awardee Major Mohit Sharma. The parents filed a plea at the Delhi High Court a few days ago, citing that the movie was made on their late son's life and the covert operations without seeking their permission. In addition, the plea noted that the trailer showed military tactics and the real people involved in the operation, which can be concerning for national security. And well, my colleague Shiv Arur spoke with Major Mohit Sharma's brother on the movie Dhurandhar, allegedly inspired by Mohit Sharma's life. Take a listen.
I'd like to start by asking you, Madhur, about why your family, your parents decided to go to court against the release of Dhurandhar. Madhur.
Hey Shiv, good evening and thank you for having me on the show. I think it's a pretty straightforward question of why we decided to go to the court, but I'm sorry, it's not going to be a straightforward answer because things have been happening for I think the past 3 to 4 months. And I think, as anybody else across the entire country, when, a movie of this scale and of this kind of a plot gets announced and, things start to happen. There's a lot of noise and buzz that starts to really get created. We were also excited about the movie a lot. And I think about a few months back, we started to get a lot of messages from friends across the country, and some of the friends were actually from the forces as well, who were basically asking us whether this is something that's based out of Mohit's life. And very honestly, we basically communicated to them that no, we have no clue. And we don't think it's based on Mohit's life, although a lot of information from, what Mohit has been, kind of awarded Ashok Chakra for, what he's famous for, what he's really kind of idolized for across the entire country. A lot of people really look up to him. So it's not something that people don't know. So we didn't really kind of have any reason to kind of go either way and say yes or no, that this is yes, it's based on Mohit's life or not. But yes, when the questions started to come in, we had no source of information to really corroborate the kind of, questions that were coming in or even refute what was coming in. As time kind of progressed, I think these kind of harmless questions from family and friends started to become into, social media posts being kind of watched over and followed over and kind of shared over by millions of people across the internet. You look at Instagram and you look at YouTube. There were like a lot of people from radio, FM, kind of who had these podcasts on their own radios or YouTube come up. We had a lot of people on Instagram post pictures and kind of correlate the looks that Mohit had, which is kind of in the public domain, and obviously we're not saying that they can't be inspired from. And kind of making direct correlation to the way that Mohit conducted his operations, especially the covert operations, which he's very famous for. And
Very story. We have a big breaking news coming at this point of time. The censor board has re-examined the movie Dhurandhar, and CBFC, after re-examining the movie, has found no link to Major Mohit Sharma. The CBFC has now given a green signal to the release of Dhurandhar movie. This, of course, comes after the Central Board of Movie Certification cleared all the hurdles that had cast uncertainty on Ranveer Singh starrer Dhurandhar movie's release. This, of course, comes following the Delhi High Court's directions to consider the objections raised by the parents of Army officer Major Mohit Sharma. The exclusive we just heard, but the big news coming in is that the censor board has given a green light to Dhurandhar. My colleague Abira is now joining me live. Abira, over to you. What can you add to this? A big green signal, a huge nod for Ranveer Singh starrer Dhurandhar's release in India.
Yes, finally the film will be releasing on Friday. There have been controversies around it, but we have seen the certificate has come. It is given an A certificate because of the kind of violence they have shown in the film. So the film has got an A certificate, but without any deleting scenes, without any replacing anything. There's no cuts given to the film. It has been given a green lit completely, but with an A-rated film, completely rated.
Right, Abira, and this, of course, comes after Major Mohit Sharma's family had raised objections. They went to the Delhi High Court saying that there are similarities within the character performed by Ranveer Singh, that portrayal and that with Major Mohit Sharma. But now the CBFC has found no link to the concerns raised by Major Mohit Sharma's family.
There are always films like this which look very similar to the people who were, who have gone through the process, but they're always inspired by it. It's not based on it. Aditya Dhar, who is the director, made it very clear that, it is not based on him. There are also, during the event trailer launch, he said that, it has been inspired from different events, different true events, and of course it has been dramatized because it's a film. So it was very clear from the beginning that it is not completely based on Mohit Sharma. But his family, of course, was not okay with it because they think it looks very, very similar to their son's life. But now, of course, the court has said that the film should be shown to the parents before its release. So I think there will be a closure for them.
Right, Abira, thanks for getting us the latest on this. That's the big news coming in. The censor board finds no link to Major Mohit Sharma and the movie Dhurandhar, and it's all set for its huge release this Friday. On that note, we slip into a very short break. Come right back. Lots line up for you here on NDTV 24/7.
Across the country, he has tracked the pulse of power from Washington to Korea. Witnessed history being made in global capitals and conflict zones. Brought clarity to complex issues of national security and international affairs. Aditya Raj Kaul, covering international affairs like no one else, only on NDTV network.
The best app to use is the NDTV app.
दुनिया भर में जब भी भारतीय मीडिया की चर्चा होती तो एनडीटीवी सबसे पहले जिक्र में आता है।
मैं आपका बात से सहमत हूं, उल्टे हम भी जब विदेश जाते हैं, the best app to use is the NDTV app.
21 days in Kashmir. People have bombarded me, friends, with requests for an unfiltered list of things I saw and observed on the ground. Very special ground report from the line of control. There were some children who've lost limbs in the shelling. They are now India's smallest but possibly the most powerful crime family. Cough syrup has killed at least 25 children. Gaikwad साहब ऐसे मत कीजिए. Suddenly people are wondering about the weaponization of India-Pakistan cricket. We live and breathe elections. You will not believe your eyes or ears when I show you what I'm about to do.
And for a country that has fought so many wars in the mountains and at high altitude.
We're standing on the Indian Navy's newest warship. The line of control, Shiv Arun, NDTV.
Front lines of Kargil. The fury of Operation Sindhu.
So many attacks.
The chaos and cries of disaster zones. To fighter jet cockpits. And the world's most defining interviews.
It's incredible.
He has seen history break. Live. Unfiltered. 20,000 hours of life.
Hello, good evening and welcome to Nationwide at 6 here on NDTV. I am Ankit Tyagi, ladies and gentlemen. A power-packed show lined up for you. All your concerns, questions here answered. All the information on the top stories of the day that you need is here on Nationwide at 6. We'll start this evening's show with, of course, the big question that people are asking about is the government trying to play the big brother with the Sanchar Saarthi app. Huge controversy after it was initially a secret order that was sent to the mobile manufacturers by the Department of Telecommunications, asking for them to make sure that Sanchar Saarthi app is pre-installed in all mobile phones without the option to disable it. We'll discuss this in detail on the broadcast. We'll also talk about what happened in the parliament today. And apart from that, I will take you to Australia, which now has set an example for countries across the globe who are fighting how to protect young children as far as the social media tools, the distraction and the impact it is having on young children. All the social media apps, Australia becomes the first country to ban social media for children. I will tell you all about that. And are there any lessons that we can learn here in India as well? That is something that we will talk about on the broadcast later at around 6:30. But let me start with what happened with the Sanchar Saarthi app. Now, an order from the government of India in fact, to mobile phone manufacturers to make it mandatory to pre-install the Sanchar Sarthi app has created a huge furore politically and has also raised a lot of questions about the privacy and snooping allegations on the government. Not just the politics that erupted over this new directive of the government to the mobile manufacturers and importers, but cyber security experts are divided over why should this app be pre-installed in mobile phones. Except Russia, no other country does anything like this. The cyber security app, Sanchar Sarthi app, pre-installed, that was the order, in every handset sold in India in the next 90 days. And for mobile phones which are already in existence, the order said that you have time to send out security updates, software updates, in which the updates will ensure that the Sanchar Sarthi app will be installed in users' phones and they will not be able to delete or disable that app. The government says it is an important cyber security, in fact, operation that this app is useful tool in. And I will tell you why the government makes that argument as well. Also, when this order came out, people started talking about it. A lot of questions then were raised. The opposition is calling this a move as the big brother watching, as a dystopian, snooping attempt by the government. However, some clarification has come from the Union Telecom Minister. Before I get into, what the Union Telecom Minister said and what the opposition has said, let me very quickly first tell you what this Sanchar Sarthi app is. Because this app is not a new app. It has been in existence for the last few years. People have been using it, but till now, you can delete this app if you want to. It's a useful tool when you are, in fact, checking certain important information like what we are telling you right now. What is the government's missive as far as the Sanchar Sarthi app is concerned, and what does this app do? Users can check their phone's validity. They can also check the IMEI details. Now, this is a 15-digit number on your phone, which makes your phone number unique. So if your phone is stolen, somebody is trying to duplicate it, this number is the very important number that helps the government find these things. It is used to verify the genuineness of a phone. It is also, in fact, important that the users can report cyber fraud, spam calls through this app. Now, this app, the Sanchar Sarthi app that I'm talking about, there can be, the users can address cybersecurity concerns on it. There is real-time alerts to track a lost phone. It helps the police recover lost phones. The app can be used to block lost devices. The government says that so far they have recovered about more than 50,000 phones in October 2025. More than 7 lakh lost phones have been recovered across the country. It helps trace one device every minute. That's what the government says. Now, what was the missive, or what was the government order, the government's directive on the Sanchar Sarthi app, which has, in fact, got not only the cyber security experts, the people, the champions for privacy in TIZI, but also the government calling this an attempt to backdoor snooping in your phones. The government said that all phones must have this app installed, pre-installed when you buy this phone. All app must be pre-installed in new phones, and for the existing one, it should be downloaded via software apps. Software updates. All phones in India need to have this app. It is mandatory. Now, app must be readily visible and accessible. The app's functions cannot be disabled. You cannot disable. So this goes against, agencies like Apple, phones like Apple, which you have to give consent. So the whole idea of consent goes for a toss with this app. handset manufacturers must comply for this order within 120 days is what the government has said. Now, this got the opposition into a tizzy, and they said, as I've been saying, that the government is trying to enter your phones through a back channel. Let's first listen in to what the opposition charge on this was.
ऑपोजिशन ये जो इशू ढूंढ करके लाने का आवश्यकता नहीं है। विंटर सेशन पार्लियामेंट में बिजनेस तय किया गया है, बहुत सारा मुद्दे हैं और कई मुद्दे जो ऑपोजिशन ने भी उठाया है उस पर हम बातचीत करके आगे क्या करना है इस पर विचार करेंगे। नए नए मुद्दे ढूंढ करके पार्लियामेंट को डिस्टर्ब करने के लिए बहाना बनाने का कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है। हर मुद्दे अपने जगह में इम्पोर्टेंट है, लेकिन मुद्दे को आप हथियार बना करके पार्लियामेंट को स्टॉल करेंगे, ये तो ठीक नहीं है।
You're calling it a snooping app, so you know what it is then. But you said snooping app, so it is a snooping app. I mean, clearly, it's ridiculous. Now, where else do they want to, I mean, citizens have their right to privacy. Even all of you must be having a right to privacy to send your own messages to family, friends, without the government looking at everything. It's not just one thing. It's not just snooping on the telephones. It's overall. They are turning this country into a dictatorship in every form. You ask me every day why Parliament is not functioning. It's not functioning because they are refusing to talk about anything. So it's very easy to blame the opposition, but the fact is they are not allowing any discussion on anything, and that is not democracy.
This is Orwellian. This is Big Brother wanting to get into your private life. A smartphone is no longer just a phone to make calls. It is a repository of all your memories, of all your private conversations, of data, of information. The government wants to get into that. This is a complete invasion into your personal and private space. Democracies don't behave like this. Free societies don't behave like this. This is an assault on individual freedom and liberty. I mean, has this government suddenly come up with a tool which is completely which no other country has come up? The only other country which is using this kind of a tool is Russia. This is like basically installing Pegasus in everybody's phone.
Now, after this whole furor on social media, in the parliament, the telecom minister, Jyotiraditya Scindia, he came out to clarify and put out the government's position. So first, let's listen in to what the minister had to say on this. He said that it is not mandatory app on your phone. If you want to use it, use it. If you don't want to use it, delete it. That's what the minister said. Let's listen in.
अगर आप इसको अपने फोन पे रखना चाहते हो तो रखो, अगर आप इसको डिलीट करना चाहते हो तो डिलीट करो। जिस तरीके से उदाहरण के तौर पर आपके फ़ोन पे जब आप फ़ोन खरीदते हो तो उस पर कई ऐप्स आ जाती हैं, जैसे गूगल मैप्स भी आ जाता है। अब आपको गूगल मैप इस्तेमाल नहीं करना है तो आप डिलीट कर लो। अगर आपको संचार साथी इस्तेमाल नहीं करना है तो डिलीट कर दो।
इसका मतलब ये ऑप्शनल है सर।
ऑब्वियसली डिलीट कर सकते हो आप। ये कस्टमर प्रोटेक्शन की बात है और हर भ्रम को मैं तोड़ने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ। आपको डिलीट करना है तो आप डिलीट कर दोगे। आप कोई मैंडेटरी नहीं है। आप अगर रजिस्टर नहीं करना चाहते, मतलब कि उदाहरण के तौर पे इस ऐप का उपयोग नहीं करना चाहते तो रजिस्टर मत करो।
Now, while the minister says that, if you want to delete it, you delete it. It's not something that will be a permanent feature in your phone. Remember one thing. The confusion started once the PIB and, in a clarification that they had put out in a statement, had said that manufacturers must ensure the app is easily accessible during device setup with no disabling or restriction of its features. Now, this goes absolutely again. So whether it is an afterthought, a climb down, a U-turn, or there has been some sort of a communication that the PIB has not been able to clarify, which the minister then had to. We will have to wait and see whether it's a U-turn from the government or not. But this, ladies and gentlemen, raises some big questions, and we will take those big questions and then, of course, go across to our guests. Those will be joining me in a short while from now. The questions that people are asking, and so is the opposition, will it be used for snooping? What are the safeguards as far as this app is concerned? Will the government have access to the messages and calls? There is an app sitting in my phone. What else would it be able to do? Can the government, in fact, look at my private messages? Demands wide range of permissions when installed. It also, the question that they are asking, that why should it demand access to camera, calls and messages? I mean, this is something that should be optional. I should give that permission to any app. Serious concerns over user privacy is another thing that people are talking about. Let me very quickly at this moment go across to, in fact, my guest on the show. NS Napnai is the founder of Cyber Sathi Foundation. He's a senior advocate also in the Supreme Court who is joining me at this moment, a champion for privacy and citizens' rights. We are also being joined by Jitin Jain, cyber expert, who is with me on the broadcast. I thank both of you for taking the time out and speaking to us. I want to understand this, Jitin, let me begin with you and ask you this. Apple and sources, in fact, are telling us, there are news reports one after another. Apple has flatly said that they can't do it. It goes against their policy of privacy. It is not possible. While the minister comes out and clarifies that it is, you can disable this app, he has not clarified whether the existing users, those who have this app, can delete it, or the people, who will be buying the new phones, who will have this app pre-installed, they would also have this option. What are your views on the restrictions and the whole argument that this goes against the privacy of users, their online consent for any app?
Ankit, honestly speaking, I am at the loss of words. And, I don't know whether the original notification mandated, this non-disabling option along with the pre-installation. I don't know whether this the allowance of disabling or uninstalling is a climb down or it was not a part of original order. We are yet to see. But I'll tell you three things. A, right now, the app which you download from a Play Store is harmless. It's for customer care. If you lose your mobile phone, if you want to report a stolen SIM, if you want to see how many SIMs are running on Aadhaar card, right now it is more in the form of fraud prevention and customer care. But the moment you try and go for a mandatory pre-installation, you are changing the entire dynamics. Then you are basically trying to raise a question about the very fundamentals of privacy of consent and data. And for any government app to be installed, or forget pre-installed, to be installed by force to any mobile phone, there will be questions you will have to answer about the data privacy, data collection, data lifecycle, data storage, and whether the scope of permissions will be expanded in the future or not. Who will have access to those data? So right now, those questions are not very clear. So whether you allow an app to be disabled or not, or uninstalled or not, is the second question. The moment you are going on for a mandatory pre-installation, there are fundamental questions you need to answer. I've always been pro-government. I am pro-surveillance. But this is, I think you're trying to hit an ant with a hammer on the wall. Yeah. I think this is a decision which should have been taken with a broad public consultation, broad consultation in the parliament, with the confidence of people. And what is the original objective? If the original objective is to prevent financial frauds and mobile theft, then this purpose is already lost. Maybe lost in the communication or lost in the translation. So in my opinion, I don't think any government app anywhere across in the world, and you should force any private operator or telecom service provider or a mobile manufacturer to pre-install. It is, and Apple is also lying. They're also not very clean. They do install, pre-install apps when it comes to financial agreements. Yes. In Google, you'll find many third-party apps being pre-installed who pays money. So, they are running a different story altogether. But in my personal opinion, this is very interesting. I would not support any government app.
No, you've set the premise very well, and it's very interesting. Like you yourself said, usually on matters like this, you are pro-government, but this has raised some concerns as well. I just want to understand, also from Napinai, the government says that, listen, don't take it in the realm of snooping and all. Look at the success of this app. The government has said that this is a big step to ensure telecom cyber security. Why is it being looked at suspicion? I mean, it has helped so many people with their phones being recovered. It is so easy. Many users, in fact, are going on and saying it's a great app. We are using it. Why is it being seen with so much suspicion?
Ankit, sorry I'm intervening. I have to leave, but just 30 seconds. Napi, if you allow, I have to leave, but just 30 seconds. All these things you can do it on a website. You don't need an app. You don't need an app. You can do it on a website. So all those things, finding a SIM, reporting a SIM, all these things you can do on a light app, website, or anything you can, go on a web portal. You don't need a mandatory installation of an app. So that is it from my side. I have to take a flight, so my apologies.
Okay, no problem. Before you go then, Jatin, let me ask you one more question. Like you said that, it is secondary that, people would be able to disable it or not. Doesn't it go against the whole, like whatever app you download on your phone, there are certain consent that you have to give for that app. If it is pre-mandated, if it is pre-installed, then it takes my consent away from me as far as this app is concerned, whether I want to use it or not.
Of course. I mean, you look at any top malwares in the world. I mean, I'm talking about Pegasus and all. You don't need to register. You just install the app and the malware goes online. So we are not questioning the intent of the government. The point is, if there is an app which is this, live location permissions, tomorrow a third-party actor can misuse it. What if, Chinese telecom, manufacturers like Xiaomi, who would have pre-installation access to this app, were to do something, hera-fairy, you will not even come to know. So I think do not give a weapon which can kill you in the hand of your enemies, thinking that you are, giving them for the security or defense. I mean, you have to be very, very careful with what you are doing and what is going to be the consequences. I mean, the intent may be good, but the process is absolutely bad.
All right. And like you said, I think the question is, Jatin, thank you so much for taking the time out. I know that you have to catch a flight. You said that you would only be, be with us for a very short period. Thank you for being with us. Like Mr. Apna, like Jatin was saying, the fact is that for the government to, in fact, come out first with this, this mandate, then the minister trying to play it down, saying, listen, it's not mandatory, you can delete it. We have seen this time and again with many decisions. First, the decisions are, in fact, rolled down, and then they are rolled back after a lot of hue and cry. Does this also tell you that's where the trust deficit is? There is no wider public consultation?
It's not just about trust deficit. It's about what is appropriate, what is permissible in law, and what needs to be done, and the methodology in which it should be done. Let me simplify it here. See, Jatin has already pinpointed the vulnerabilities or threats that can arise from downloading of an app. I want to address the legal aspects now. Now, first and foremost, there was a mention about other apps coming preloaded on our phone. That does indeed lead to corporate surveillance. But that's not the same, and it doesn't stand on the same footing as government surveillance. And when we talk about government surveillance, it's not like we distrust the government. We are talking about what a government is permitted to do and what it is not permitted to do. And here is a situation where the government believes it has to act like the corporates. It will first do what it wants to and then seek forgiveness rather than permission. So when you download an app, you do it through a conscious action of downloading because you decide that you want the app, and then you do it through consent framework. You agree to the terms and conditions. You get the opportunity to first review what is it that the app is seeking permissions for. You can then block out certain permissions, etc. Right? So you control what you share also through an app. At least that is presumed to be the norm when you download an app, a legitimate app, through a proper app store or a Google, any store, right? An app store, I would put it as. Now, here is a situation where the government is laying emphasis on how relevant and how useful the Sanchar Sathi app has been. Kudos to them for that. But why don't you allow us to decide whether we think it's relevant for us? Why don't you allow us to decide whether we want to utilize it or not? You mentioned about me being a champion for various things. Let me tell you, I am one of the biggest champions for cyber safety, particularly against financial frauds, etc. Right? So we definitely want solutions for that. But the solution should not be excessive. It should not be disproportionate. And it certainly cannot be with a trade-off on privacy or my rights.
And we are also talking about, for a country, forget example of Russia. Apart from Russia, nobody, no other country is doing this, not even China, though they have a very controlled social media. They have their own, setup as far as social media is concerned. But the fact remains, ma'am, that when the government wants to bring something like this, shouldn't there be at least an open discussion about it, especially in a country where the privacy protection laws are still being debated? There are a lot of questions about how the government user apps and their data is being leaked or sometimes is being floated online. In all that, should the government first have taken all the stakeholders from the manufacturers to the users in some sort of confidence before rolling this out?
Certainly. One aspect is public consultation, but the first level of evaluation that the government ought to have done is the necessity for this app and how do they plan to implement it. So when we are talking about an app of this order, and you're right, you have the Russian example of mandating compulsory inclusion of certain apps, but there also Russia claims that it is doing that to promote its local technologies. That's on an aside. But when we come to India as a democracy, there are two things we talk about when we speak about data protection. The first I already adverted to, which is consent. But there is a second aspect, which is accountability and responsibility or liability. So what is it that you're doing as a government to show accountability? Where is there clarity in terms of what is it that you're... See, right now the government has also clarified saying it is not collecting any data. Then what exactly is it doing with downloading the app? How exactly is it tracing your phone without collection of data? Clearly some data is needed. What it's trying to say is it may be trying to emphasize that it's not collecting personal information. But there again, if it is my location that you're collecting, that is personal information too. And telling me that you have the right to remove something is not the same as telling me that I have the right to choose to download something.
That's right.
And this is a very simple construct which seems to be eluding the government. And I would genuinely and earnestly request that this direction be recalled and evaluated with wisdom. Because what you need, if you need to provide protection, do it the right way.
That's an important advice. We are hoping that the government, in fact, listens to this because, like I said, it's, ma'am, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks, Jatin Jain, for also being with us on this. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, it's not about doubting the intent of the government. The fact remains that, A, there should be wider consultations. And number two, before the government throws out this sort of an order for the manufacturers, why shouldn't the people be informed about it? Why should it be under the shroud of secrecy? And the minister possibly now has, after the backlash has gone back and said that you can delete it. But even before deleting, shouldn't it be my right to download this with the kind of consent that I want to give as far as this app is concerned? That is the primary question that needs to be answered before any such move is made in future. Let's move on now. In fact, like I said, this was one of the things that was spoken in the parliament today, but day two has been nothing of less than fireworks in the parliament again in the winter session. It was day two of the winter session of the parliament, and once again it had a heated start. Fireworks from the opposition to the government. The Lok Sabha was adjourned, opposition uproar over the SIR issue. The SIR, the core demand of the opposition, was heard, rung out, echoed in the parliament, both inside the Lok Sabha and also outside, where the top leaders of the opposition, including Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, you see in the picture, and all the other leaders were also protesting outside. And then it was inside the Lok Sabha where the MPs, opposition MPs, stormed to the well asking for a debate on the SIR issue. Remember, last session also Bihar SIR was the issue where the opposition wanted some sort of clarity, discussion on this. And now, when more than 12 states are conducting this exercise, the opposition has been wanting a discussion on this, where not just the election commission, many of them have petitioned, but they want the government to answer some questions as well. Now, let's first, ladies and gentlemen, listen in to some reactions on this, because finally, after a massive protest, the government has relented. There is a middle path that has been found. Listen in first to what the opposition had said.
स्पीकर के चैम्बर में ऑल पार्टी फ्लोर लीडर्स का मीटिंग अच्छी तरह से हुई है और हम इस बात पे सहमति हो पाया है कि मंडे को लोकसभा में वंदे मातरम के 150 साल पूरे होने पर हम विशेष चर्चा करेंगे। उसके बाद ट्यूसडे को मंगलवार को लोकसभा में इलेक्शन रिफॉर्म्स को लेकर के हम दिन भर चर्चा करेंगे। 10 घंटे का टाइम तय किया गया है, अगर जरूरत पड़ेगा तो उसमें हम टाइम एक्सटेंशन करेंगे।
वोट में गड़बड़ी, वोट में हेराफेरी, वोटर लिस्ट में वोटरों की वोट चोरी, ये चीज इतनी जनता के बीच में चली गई कि अब मजबूरी में उन्हें एसआईआर कराना पड़ रहा है। याद रखना, ये एसआईआर अपनी नाकामी, अपनी कमियां छिपाने के लिए हो रहा है। अच्छी बात है कि एसआईआर में हम भागीदारी कर रहे हैं और मैं अपने एक कार्यकर्ता का धन्यवाद देता हूं कि जो पीडीए प्रहरी बनकर के वोटर लिस्ट ठीक कर रहे हैं जी। ये साजिश षड्यंत्र इसलिए है कि सरकार सच्चाई से डरती है, हर आंकड़े में हेराफेरी करती है, लेकिन हम मजबूती से काम करेंगे और लोकसभा में ये बात रखेंगे कि किस तरह भारतीय जनता पार्टी बेईमानी करने पर उतर आई है।
एसआईआर कोई मुद्दा ही नहीं है, क्योंकि बिहार में राहुल गांधी और तेजस्वी यादव और प्रियंका जी और पूरे देश के लोग
All right, there is important breaking news coming in from across the border in Pakistan, where the country has been on the tenterhooks asking the question whether Imran Khan, the former Prime Minister who is in jail, is dead or alive. Finally, the sister of Imran Khan, who was allowed to meet the former Prime Minister, has confirmed Imran Khan is alive and is in fact inside the prison. There were a lot of questions, anticipation, and almost a fever pitch within the political party that Imran Khan, PTI, all of them were in fact protesting, wanting his family to, for the government to in fact make sure that the family meets Imran Khan. Imran Khan's sister has now met him and has come out and said that he is doing absolutely fine. Though she said that he is being mentally tortured. That's the allegation. Let's first listen in to what Imran Khan's sister, Uzma, in fact, after meeting Imran Khan, has said.
हमें ये मेंटल टॉर्चर कर रहे हैं और सारा दिन कमरे में बंद, थोड़ा सा बाहर जब निकल सकते हैं, कोई किसी से कम्युनिकेशन नहीं। कहते हैं ये आसिम मुनीर जिम्मेदार है, ये सब कुछ हो रहा है। बाकी
कितनी देर मुलाकात रही है मैडम आपकी?
डिटेल में बात। अच्छा, सेहत उनकी ठीक है?
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह।
इतना बताइएगा कि खान साहब की सेहत कैसी है, वो कैसे लगे आपको, क्या बात की उन्होंने?
सेहत अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह ठीक है, मगर ज़हनी वो उन्होंने बड़े गुस्से में थे। कहते हैं कि हमें ये मेंटल टॉर्चर कर रहे हैं और सारा दिन कमरे में बंद, थोड़ा सा बाहर जब निकल सकते हैं, कोई किसी से कम्युनिकेशन नहीं। कहते हैं ये आसिम मुनीर जिम्मेदार है, ये सब कुछ हो रहा है। बाकी
कितनी देर मुलाकात रही है मैडम आपकी?
डिटेल में बात। अच्छा, सेहत उनकी।
All right, so that's Imran Khan's sister who has just met Imran Khan inside the prison and has come out and has confirmed that Imran Khan, the former Prime Minister of Pakistan, is alive. She has also said that he's being tortured and has once again raised the pitch against Asim Munir, the most powerful man, who keeps giving himself from Field Marshal to the Chief of the Defense Staff to everything else in between in Pakistan Army. She said that he is responsible for what Imran Khan is going through. Pradeep Datta, my colleague, is joining me with more details on this, Pradeep. It's not that there is any love lost for Imran Khan. We all know what all he has done during his tenure as the Prime Minister against India. But the fact is, in his country at least, there have been so many of his supporters, those who were alleging that he has been killed, bumped off inside the prison. Now the sister confirming that he is alive.
Yes, Ankit, you're absolutely.
back, the rumors spread that he had died in their custody, and ever since we have seen that there had been widespread protests. And today, finally, the government has come under pressure, and his sister, Uzma Khan, was allowed to meet Imran Khan inside Adiala jail. And short while back, you heard that she came out of prison. She said that Imran Khan is being mentally tortured. Though he's alive, he's mentally tortured. He's been living in a solitary confinement because there is hardly any interaction with Imran Khan. That's what she has said. You rightly said she has raised a pitch against Asim Muni, General Asim Muni, because we have seen that it was in 2023 on several charges of corruption against him that he was put behind the bars, and he is undergoing imprisonment for about 14 years. And it was 3 weeks back that rumors spread, and finally there were widespread protests. Family members had been asking that they should be allowed to meet. The government was not giving them permission. Even the phone call was not allowed. Neither the doctors were allowed to meet, neither the lawyer was allowed to meet. So that has raised several concerns. And we have seen that today they had threatened to mobilize people and come out on streets and protest outside Adiala jail as well as High Court in Islamabad. So 144 was already imposed in this connection. They wanted that there should be no mobilization of people already. All roads leading to Adiala jail were completely barricaded and people were not allowed to move to this side. Finally, the government succumbed under pressure. They decided that what really happened in 2023, last year when Imran Khan was, 2 years back when Imran Khan was arrested, the same thing should not be repeated. So this time they did not want to take any chance. Finally, his sister, Uzma Khan, was allowed to go inside Adiala jail. And finally, when she came out, she said that he is being mentally tortured. He is in a solitary confinement. There's no interaction with the former Prime Minister. He is not allowed to interact with anyone. But yes, one good news for the family members, one good news for his supporters and well-wishers is that Imran Khan is alive. Because anything can happen in Pakistan. We have seen that what really happened to Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, because he was the one who had appointed that time General Zia as chief of army staff. And what really happened afterwards, he was put behind bars
and that was the fear that the people and his supporters had. But it seems that the pressure, the Pakistani army and the government finally relenting and ensuring that the family meets Imran Khan. They did not want a situation to brew inside the house, a rebellion sort of a situation, which was in fact only boiling as far as the PTI and Imran Khan supporters are concerned. The sister now confirming that he is alive, though being tortured mentally, according to her, on the orders of General Asim Munir, Field Marshal, or whatever new designation he has given himself in the last 24 hours. With that, we are slipping into a very short break, ladies and gentlemen. I'm coming back with much more on the other side. We'll shift focus to Australia, where there is a complete ban on the social media for children. Are there lessons for India? Coming back. Stay tuned.
Pulling us into this country.
They argue, I conclude. They deflect, I drill down. Stop. This isn't a free-for-all. It's a reckoning. No filler, no fog. Only the facts and where they lead. Every night at 9, the case closes because the buck stops here.
I don't sugarcoat. I shoot straight and tell you stories the way they need to be told. Unfiltered, unafraid, unmissable. That's how I roll. Watch me, Priyanka Deo, on NDTV World. Namaste.
Namaste, India. As you all know, I've been traveling around the world with my music. But this one is truly special. Something that's India. You all must have seen the magic that was created in Kun Fayakun. Now it's your chance to experience it with me. So book your tickets from District app, and together let's create harmony of hearts. See you, Delhi.
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
have inspired us. They have redefined what's possible. They have shown how ideas spark inspiration and create impact. NDTV Indian of the Year 2025. Ideas, inspiration, impact. Coming soon.
Across the country.
He has tracked the pulse of power from Washington to Korea. Witnessed history being made in global capitals and conflict zones. Brought clarity to complex issues of national security and international affairs. Aditya Raj Kaul, covering international affairs like no one else. Only on NDTV network.
The best app to use is the NDTV app.
दुनिया भर में जब भी भारतीय मीडिया की चर्चा होती है तो एनडीटीवी सबसे पहले जिक्र में आता है।
मैं आपका बात से सहमत हूं। उल्टे हम भी जब विदेश जाते हैं, the best app to use is the NDTV app.
21 days in Kashmir. People have bombarded me, friends, with requests for an unfiltered list of things I saw and observed on the ground. Very special ground report from the line of control. There were some children who've lost limbs in the shelling. They are now India's smallest but possibly the most powerful crime family. Cough syrup has killed at least 25 children. Gaikwad sahab, aise mat kijiye. Suddenly people are wondering about the weaponization of India-Pakistan cricket. We live and breathe elections. You will not believe your eyes or ears when I show you what I'm about to do.
And for a country that has fought so many wars in the mountains and at high altitude.
We're standing on the Indian Navy's newest warship, the line of control, Shiv Arun, NDTV.
The front lines of Kargil. The fury of Operation Sindhu.
So many attacks.
The chaos and cries of disaster zones. To fighter jet cockpits. And the world's most defining interviews.
It's incredible.
He has seen history break. Live. Unfiltered. 20,000 hours of live broadcasting.
Welcome to Left, Right and Center.
Hard facts.
War-struck country.
Hard questions.
In the Ukraine.
30 years of trust.
In the Kargil area. North Ukraine. In France. In Italy. At Srinagar. And in France.
While we are in India talking about the privacy concerns over Sanchar Sathi app, there have been some remarkable legislation which has in fact taken place in Australia. From December 10th, young teenagers in Australia will be banned from, under the new legislation from social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. All of them are like the magnet that attract young children. Now, this is one of the toughest crackdowns that we have seen in the democratic world. The law was passed by the parliament in 2024 and it aims to protect children from the toxic elements of social media, such as bullying, grooming, sexual extortion, as well as youth suicides linked to online abuse. Now, this is a remarkable, in fact, legislation which has now been brought in effect. Though it has raised some concerns about privacy, about the ban being seen as enforceable, but those in favor say that this is a necessary step which has been taken. So what happens? What changes now in Australia? How this has become a landmark example as far as the other developing countries or developed countries or the countries across the world are concerned. In Australia now, the ban says that the social media kids under 16 years will be completely off social media. They would not be able to use any kind of social media. The apps which are banned under this are Facebook. They will not be able to create accounts, as far as this legislation is concerned. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, X, which was formerly Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, All of this, which kids spend tons of their time, will not be accessible as per the law. Now, the ban comes into effect from 10th of this month, 10th December 2025, and social media platforms have been all asked to delete the profiles of kids under the age of 16 from their platforms. 50 million Australian dollar penalty has been put, a very strict high penalty for failure to comply. Now, why is this ban necessitated? What is the logic behind putting such a harsh ban which is being debated? To protect children from online harm, cyberbullying, harmful content, because, despite age appropriation, this and that, there is always a way around that children find themselves with content which is not appropriate for them, exploitation, mental health issues, and privacy breach. These are the cornerstone, the basic problems that this legislation hopes to achieve, hopes to, in fact, work with. Now, let me also tell you, in Indian context, ladies and gentlemen, this becomes very, very important. Are there lessons that we can learn? And why I'm saying that? Because in India, 49 crore social media users on various platforms. It's a huge market for various social media platforms. India is hooked on social media. Instagram has 36 crore users in India. Facebook, again, 36 crore users. YouTube, about 46 crore consumers in India. And Snapchat has 20 crore users in this country. Now, there is a study which tells you how in India, the amount of time that people and children especially are utilizing on social media to surf the internet. Between the age of 9 to 13, and this is very, very important, 62% spend about 3 hours a day. We are talking about the age group of 9 to 13, where more than 60% children are spending about 3 hours of their day on social media. If you look at the age group of 13 to 17, 49% does, spend 3 hours a day on social media. Locals, this is the local circles survey of parents. 9 to 17, there is an addiction to videos and games in this age group as far as these children are concerned. Massive addiction to videos and the games. 44% parents say their kids are addicted to being on social media. Now, this is an important survey which tells you that, there is possibly something of this nature that we should also think about in our country, given the abuse and not just the mental health issues, but also the physical issues that children, in fact, face as far as, this is concerned. Let me very quickly at this moment go across to Aruba Kabir, senior psychologist, who is joining me at this moment on the broadcast. Thank you so much, Aruba, for taking the time out. I was talking about, we read this and it was a very, very interesting story. Some are calling it a draconian step. Others are saying it's a necessary step which has been taken by the Australian government. Where do you stand, first of all, on what the government has done?
Well, as a mental health professional, I understand why governments are stepping in. Because at the same time, a blanket ban is not a complete solution. The problem is not just screens. The problem is the skill children aren't being taught. That is emotional regulation, digital literacy, body boundaries, self-esteem, and the real-world social skills. So you can ban the social media, but the minute they turn 16 and they have the access to it, it's difficult to control the impact of it then. So if these foundational skills aren't built, children will find unhealthy patterns with or without social media. I see it's a concern. We are seeing more and more anxiety, depression, bullying, harassment, body image issues, loneliness in therapy in teenagers. But at the same time, we have to see that a complete blanket ban is not a solution.
Aruba, let me ask you this. I mean, the logic could also be turned and said that by 16 at least there is some sense, some awareness about their well-being, some education that has been imparted. They have spent some time in the real world, because we saw that survey. Children are addicted to online gaming between the age of 9 to 13. It has effects on their mental health, on their social skills. What can parents do in India?
Well, we have seen parents often outsource emotional regulation to screens. A child is not eating, they give them a screen and they are looking at the screen, and the child is eating. A child is having difficult time in their teenage, where it is the time where there are lots of transitions happening and children need a lot of emotional regulation. But the parent, they do not have the time, so they give screens or they allow screens. So it is less about a child, what you're banning for them, and more about a parent, how their emotional regulation is there. When a child enters teens, there's a lot of transition happening in their life, and parents have not been prepared. They have not prepared themselves for the transition, so they can't take it. Now, why this particular age? 15 to 16 age is actually when a child develops judgment, the right and wrong, and what I should be doing, what I should not. They have this risk assessment skill developed. But now tell me, if there are homes where children don't feel safe enough to talk about things, then how are they going to develop that? Doesn't matter what the age is. That is our concern.
That's a very important point that you are making. I'm afraid I'm out of time on this. We'll want a very larger discussion on this, because this is an important thing that people should be talking about. All our children, young ones, are impacted by this. Aruba Kabir, thank you so much for joining me. But very quickly, at least this is what we think that the government and the parents in India can in fact start doing just as a beginner when it comes to the social media and the impact. Enforce minimum age limits. This is something that the government can do. Apart from the debate on the Sanchar Sathi app, this is what possibly the government would be wanting to do, which will impact a lot more people. Mandatory parental controls should be enforced in all social media. Stricter age verification mechanisms, should be put in. Apart from that, time limit features for underage accounts. You can only access it for a limited amount of time in one day. And ban on targeted ads for minors. There is no place for these kind of ads. I mean, it is just creating more pressure on them. Mental health warnings and content filters should be made mandatory in social media sites. This is something that at least we think that India should start doing as also on the government level and also at the level of the parents as well. It needs a wider consensus. Whether a ban is the answer to it or not, at least the discussion on this should start. A quick break. I'm coming back. Stay tuned.
Pulling us into this country.
They argue, I conclude. They deflect, I drill down. Stop. This isn't a free-for-all. It's a reckoning. No filler, no fog. Only the facts and where they lead. Every night at 9, the case closes because the buck stops here.
I don't sugarcoat. I shoot straight and tell you stories the way they need to be told. Unfiltered, unafraid, unmissable. That's how I roll. Watch me, Priyanka Deo, on NDTV World. Namaste.
Namaste, India. As you all know, I've been traveling around the world with my music. But this one is truly special. Something that's India. You all must have seen the magic that was created in Kun Faya Kun. Now it's your chance to experience it with me. So book your tickets from District app, and together let's create harmony of hearts. See you, Delhi.
What seems settled for me, is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig, until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
They have inspired us. They have redefined what's possible. They have shown how ideas spark inspiration and create impact. NDTV Indian of the Year 2025. Ideas, inspiration, impact. Coming soon.
Across the country.
He has tracked the pulse of power from Washington to Korea. Witnessed history being made in global capitals and conflict zones. Brought clarity to complex issues of national security and international affairs. Aditya Raj Kaul, covering international affairs like no one else. Only on NDTV network.
The best app to use is the NDTV app.
दुनिया भर में जब भी भारतीय मीडिया की चर्चा होती है तो एनडीटीवी सबसे पहले जिक्र में आता है।
मैं आपका बात से सहमत हूं, उल्टे हम भी जब विदेश जाते हैं, the best app to use is the NDTV app.
21 days in Kashmir. People have bombarded me, friends, with requests for an unfiltered list of things I saw and observed on the ground.
Very special ground report from the line of control. There were some children who've lost limbs in the shelling.
They are now India's smallest but possibly the most powerful crime family. Cough syrup has killed at least 25 children. Gaikwad sahab, aise mat kijiye. Suddenly people are wondering about the weaponization of India-Pakistan cricket. We live and breathe elections. You will not believe your eyes or ears when I show you what I'm about to do.
And for a country that has fought
After the controversy and questions raised by Major Mohit Sharma's parents, now the Central Board for Certification of Films has in fact re-examined film Dhurandhar and has found no links to Major Mohit Sharma's life. In fact, CBFC has given a green signal for the release of this film. Remember, Mohit Sharma's parents, Major Mohit Sharma's parents, had gone to the court demanding clarification and pre-screening of this film. That's all the time that I have in this edition. I'll see you tomorrow.
He don't speak, but the danger will tame you.
The front lines of Kargil. The fury of Operation Sindhu.
So many attacks.
The chaos and cries of disaster zones. To fighter jet cockpits. And the world's most defining interviews.
It's incredible.
He has seen history break. Live. Unfiltered. 20,000 hours of live broadcasting.
Welcome to Left, Right and Centre.
Hard facts.
War-struck country.
Hard questions.
In the Ukraine.
30 years of trust.
In the Kargil area. North Ukraine and France in Italy. At Srinagar. And Vishnu Shom for NDTV.
Vishnu Shom. Only on NDTV.
Pulling us into this country.
They argue, I conclude. They deflect, I drill down. This isn't a free-for-all. It's a reckoning. No filler, no fog. Only the facts and where they lead. Every night at 9, the case closes because the buck stops here.
I don't sugarcoat. I shoot straight and tell you stories the way they need to be told. Unfiltered, unafraid, unmissable. That's how I roll. Watch me, Priyanka Deo, on NDTV World. Namaste.
Namaste, India. As you all know, I've been traveling around the world with my music. But this one is truly special. Something that's India. You all must have seen the magic that was created in Kun Fayakun. Now it's your chance to experience it with me. So book your tickets from District app and together let's create harmony of hearts. See you, Delhi.
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind. I pause. I reflect. I dig until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
They have inspired us. They have redefined what's possible. They have shown how ideas spark inspiration and create impact. NDTV Indian of the Year 2025. Ideas, inspiration, impact. Coming soon.
Across the country.
He has tracked the pulse of power from Washington to Korea. Witnessed history being made in global capitals and conflict zones. Brought clarity to complex issues of national security and international affairs. Aditya Raj Kaul, covering international affairs like no one else. Only on NDTV network.
The best app to use is the NDTV app.
दुनिया भर में जब भी भारतीय मीडिया की चर्चा होती है तो एनडीटीवी सबसे पहले जिक्र में आता है।
मैं आपका बात से सहमत हूं। उल्टे हम भी जब विदेश जाते हैं, the best app to use is the NDTV app.
21 days in Kashmir. People have bombarded me, friends, with requests for an unfiltered list of things I saw and observed on the ground.
Very special ground report from the line of control. There were some children who've lost limbs in the shelling.
They are now India's smallest but possibly the most powerful crime family. Cough syrup has killed at least 25 children. Gaikwad sahab, aise mat kijiye. Suddenly people are wondering about the weaponization of India-Pakistan cricket. We live and breathe elections. You will not believe your eyes or ears when I show you what I'm about to do.
And for a country that has fought so many wars in the mountains and at high altitude.
We're standing on the Indian Navy's newest warship.
The line of control, Shiv Arur, NDTV.
Front lines of Kargil. The fury of Operation Sindhu.
So many attacks.
The chaos and cries of disaster zones. To fighter jet cockpits. And the world's most defining interviews.
It's incredible.
He has seen history break. Live. Unfiltered. 20,000 hours of live broadcasting.
Welcome to Left, Right and Centre.
Hard facts.
War-struck country.
Hard questions.
In the Ukraine.
30 years of trust.
In the Kargil area. North Ukraine. In France. In Italy. At Srinagar. Vishnu Shom for NDTV.
Vishnu Shom. Only on NDTV.
Pulling us into this country.
They argue, I conclude. They deflect, I drill down.
Hello and welcome to the Southern View. Lots lined up over the next 60 minutes with Vasudha and me. Namaskaram, Namaskara, Baunara, Nallar Kingla Vasudha, nicely dressed there at the Vijay Chowk.
That's right, the needle has moved, Veera, and I come to you from Vijay Chowk, right outside the Parliament. And there has been a little bit of consensus, more of optics, be it DK Shivakumar and Siddaramaia's breakfast number 2, or the Parliament, where there has been an agreement that there'll be finally a discussion on election reforms next week. We'll tell you all about that in just a bit, but first up, the headlines.
Well, Imran Khan is alive and fine, says his sister after she meets him in jail. The meeting comes amidst intense speculation over the former Pakistan Prime Minister and Pakistan cricket team's captain's health and absence from the field after he was arrested by the authorities. Centre denies that the Sanchar Sati app can snoop on your phone. Union Minister Scindia, Jyotiraditya Scindia, claims the app can be uninstalled from the phones. The opposition parties call it dictatorship under the Modi Sarkar. Congress says U-turn after the initial outrage of the order of the DOT. Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar, Karnataka's Chief Minister and his deputy, present a united front after breakfast meet 2.0 over idlis and nati chicken. They're likely to travel to New Delhi on the 8th of December for a meeting with all Karnataka MPs and could also meet the party high command. Siddaramaiah will be meeting KC Venugopal at an event in Mangaluru tomorrow. But first up this evening, Vasudha, after unrelenting protests by the opposition demanding a debate on the SIR issue, the government finally conceded to a debate on the larger topic of electoral reforms in Parliament. But after a discussion on Vande Mataram, the concession by the government, Vasudha, to have a discussion on electoral reforms could finally give way to functioning of the Parliament and negate the threat of a winter session washout due to this standoff.
That's right, Veera. In fact, there's all expectation that the Parliament could function from tomorrow. But the magic word here is Shabdavali, because every minister that I spoke to today said that we have not agreed for a discussion on SIR. It's election reform that the discussion will be on. And to the government's credit, to its own victory, it says that it has also gotten the opposition to agree for a debate on Vande Mataram. So Vande Mataram debate is going to take place on the 8th of December, which is Monday, and then on 9th is when the election reform discussion will take place. So a little bit of climb down on both sides, but finally there's been some consensus. But is it just optics? That is something only tomorrow will tell us, because tomorrow will be one proper day of functioning is what everybody is expecting. Before I bring in my guests, let's take you through what Kiran Rijiju, the Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, said today, and also Mallikarjun Kharge, Leader of Opposition in the Rajya Sabha, Congress President, how did he react to all the accusation? Let's listen into those reactions.
कल भी हमने अनुरोध किया, आज मैं फिर से करना चाहता हूं। देश में कई मुद्दे हैं, किसी भी मुद्दे को हम छोटा नहीं मानते हैं, लेकिन संसद नियम से तरीके से चलते हैं। एक मुद्दे को लेकर के बाकी मुद्दों को आप दबा नहीं सकते। इसलिए इस सदन में कई पार्टी से, छोटे छोटे पार्टी के सदस्य भी हैं, एक एक पार्टी के एक सदस्य का भी यहाँ मेंबर है। सबका बात सुनना चाहिए। दो चार पार्टी मिलकर के संसद को आप ठप करेंगे, ये बिल्कुल ठीक नहीं है। चुनाव में हार जीत होता है, सभापति महोदय, ये लोकतंत्र है, हार जीत होता है। मैं भी चुनाव में हारा हूं, अटल जी भी पहले चुनाव हारे थे, लेकिन हारने से बौखलाहट होकर के गुस्सा आप यहाँ पार्लियामेंट में आप पूरा निकालेंगे, ये तो ठीक नहीं है। यहाँ देश के मुद्दों को लेकर के चर्चा करने के लिए हम सब आए हैं। मैं फिर से कहना चाहता हूँ, आप ऐसे हरकतें करने की वजह से जनता का विश्वास आप खोते जा रहे हैं। मैं आश्वासन देता हूँ, चाहे इलेक्शन का रिफॉर्म्स हो, कोई भी मुद्दे हैं, हम पीछे नहीं हटेंगे। देश का कोई भी मुद्दा हम चर्चा के लिए तैयार है। हमने कुछ प्रमुख अपोजिशन लीडर्स को बुलाया है। मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि ये अभी तक जो हंगामा किया है वो ठीक नहीं है, आगे और ना करें, इसका मैं अपील करता हूं। और मैं अपोजिशन के लीडर से बात करने के लिए पेशकश किया हुआ है और वो आने वाले भी है। हम बात करके कोई रास्ता हम निकल करके सबका बात हम सुनेंगे, आपका भी बात हम सुनेंगे, सरकार का भी आप सुनना है। लेकिन यहाँ नारेबाजी लगा करके जो आप लोगों ने दृश्य पेशकश किया है ये ठीक नहीं है। इसलिए मैं आपसे अनुरोध करता हूं कि आप संसद का गरिमा को बनाए रखें और चर्चा के लिए हम लोग तैयार हो जाइए।
SIR is going fast and nearly 12-13 people have died and BOL 28 people have died. Sir, this is an urgent matter to save democracy.
You put your words. I will ask the government to respond.
I want discussion should take place now only, and in the interest of democracy, in the interest of citizens, in the interest of the country. Whatever the agenda or whatever the agenda is put before the House, it should get priority over 267. 267 says that the all other issues should be kept aside and first preference should be given to 267 discussion. That is important. That's why we request, sir, you give us permission to start discussion on 267, that SIR, and we are read.
More than 14 opposition parties want a discussion on a particular issue because people are dying because of SIR, suicides.
So, Veera, it was a day of many adjournments and some consensus, at least in the face of it. We'll have to wait and see how it really pans out tomorrow. Siddharth Yadav of the BJP joins us now. We also have Pooja Tripathi of the Congress Party. Thank you both of you for being part of this show. Siddharth, to you first. I was in the Parliament throughout today, and the only question that opposition members are asking, if the government agreed to the SIR discussion, the election reform discussion today, what really stopped the government from doing the same thing last session? Because it's the opposition that's often accused of disrupting the parliament. The government could have done the same thing last session as well.
No, Vasudha, I think it has been very categorically been stated by the Honorable Parliamentary Affairs Minister that the government is ready for discussion on electoral reforms. The government has been indulging in discussions around electoral reforms earlier as well. So I do not accept this charge that the government was not earlier agreeing for such a discussion and now the government has agreed so. What has to be understood is that on issues particularly about SIR or issues particularly about an exercise which is being conducted by a constitutional body in our country, which is mandated by the Constitution under Article 324, which is also sub judice in the Honorable Supreme Court. It is for the parliamentary decorum which has to be taken into account before any such discussions have to be taken up in the parliament. The same discussion was there in the last session. The government had given a very clear stance. But when it comes down to discussions around electoral reforms, I think those are much needed. That would include a very wide aspect, a very wide ambit of all electoral reforms that are needed in our country today, which would, even scape out Siddharth, when we talk to of discussions electoral around reforms in the one nation, present one context, election.
It's going to be a discussion focused on the SIR issue, the death of BLOs, as the opposition has been raising. Dr. Pooja Tripathi, now that you have a discussion, I have a very specific question. Given the matter is before the courts, given the matter is something that is concerning the Election Commission, what exactly is going to be the purpose and the focus of the opposition in the discussion, number one? Number two, do we see a united effort from the opposition in terms of driving its point, or are there
different points of views within the opposition parties?
Veera, opposition has been gracious and accommodating enough to, have a discussion on electoral reforms, and we have been demanding it. There's the complete washout of monsoon sessions and 2 days of winter session, and then they discuss. It's a parliamentary democracy, and no process, no institutional process is above parliamentary scrutiny. The opposition members wanted a discussion. There have been, 35 BLOs who have died, and they're disturbing videos. Some are crying before hanging themselves. 3-page suicide notes. The SDM has posed some fine. Many have been thrown out of their jobs, and then we are asking why this sudden urge and why this tight timeline. SIRs have happened earlier in the past, but we have never heard of this kind of fatality that SIR exercise has taken place. So why Election Commission becomes so tone deaf that they post reels of people dancing, taking a break, but it's not saying a word on the BLOs that are actually committing suicide. And they've been 35 is a huge number, even if it's one. And that's why opposition was wanting a discussion. And they said, no, we will not have a discussion. It's sub judice, will not have a discussion on electoral reforms. But glad they came to this conclusion that they need to have a discussion, because they can't. Parliament is not something that a government, it's not a mini government there. Even if we have one opposition voices, and even if
Dr. Tripathi is making. But let me also take you through what happened today, because when I spoke to the opposition members today, they said that we will not participate in the Vande Mataram discussion if the SIR discussion does not happen first. And they are saying, what is the immediate need to discuss Vande Mataram, 150 years, of course, that falls on December 7th, so I understand your point of view. But they are saying that why should we discuss that when BLOs are dying? And that also seems like a valid argument.
Siddharth.
Vasudha, is that question for me?
Yeah, I was asking the same.
Yes, Siddharth, it's for you. I'm asking you, why is the government so insistent on having Vande Mataram discussion first?
I got it.
And preceded by, of course, the one on election reforms.
No, Vasudha, I understand why the opposition would be rattled and for not having a discussion on Vande Mataram, or why they think that it's not a priority, because probably what has been done to the national song over the years is for something for them to be answerable about. But if we are celebrating the 150th mark of Vande Mataram this year, if the temple of democracy won't discuss the national song or would not celebrate it, then who would? This is just astonishing coming from the opposition, that they do not want to discuss about Vande Mataram. That's point number one. Point number two, their discussion around SIR is so hypocritical that it answers for itself. For example, whenever questions are asked about the SIR from the Election Commission, and if government says anything, then the opposition would say that why is the government answering on behalf of the Election Commission? But when they want a discussion in the parliament, then who is going to answer? The Election Commission is not participant in the parliament. Point number two, when they say that the timelines are so strict, so in Bengal the timelines are so strict because the elections are approaching. What about UP? When the time is more, then also it is a problem. When the time is less, then also it is a problem. This shows that the opposition
respond to that,
is,
Dr.
has no particular agenda. But I think their agenda...
What do you expect the government to say when you believe that the matter should be responded to by the Election Commission and the Supreme Court?
The Honorable Minister of Law and Justice have in the parliamentary history answered the floor of the parliament on the matters containing electoral reforms, Election Commission, and that's what we want. There is a sudden increase. And when you talk about, opposition should not do drama and instead focus on delivery, what you're doing with the Vande Mataram discussion. Yesterday, a question was asked, how much amount of black money has been taken out of the country from 10 years? The government shamelessly, whose whole election agenda was कि मैं काला धन वापस लाऊंगा और आपकी एक 15 lakh आपके account में आऊंगा. They shamelessly said on the floor of the parliament that they have no data, they have no accountability, and now they want a discussion on Vande Mataram.
This is
political propaganda. It's all political brownie points that they want, and let them have it. But we will not.
Very quickly, because we need to wrap this. We're out of time. Very, very quickly. 10 seconds. Siddharth Yadav.
Yes. Yes, two responses. Now, when you ask a opposition about the pinpointed question of what the government will respond, now they say, yes, the discussion has to be around electoral reforms. That's what we are saying. Or if you discuss electoral reforms, it has a very wide ambit. The government is ready to have that discussion. But if you want to do your propaganda in the parliament, the parliament is not that space.
I think there is
Number
much
two,
more of
Vande
this
Mataram is
discussion
not drama. I'm
that's
very
in store
sorry,
in
ma'am.
Parliament as the session unfolds. But thanks very much to both Siddharth Yadav and Dr. Pooja Tripathi for joining us here this evening. Vasudha, clearly the face-off will play out further in Parliament, and the heated face-off in Parliament likely to continue. Finance Minister hit out at the opposition today, Vasudha, as well.
That's right. Nirmala Sitharaman, the finance minister, was in charge of introducing 3 important bills, and she did that, and she lashed out at the opposition specifically while talking about the GST bill in Manipur. She said it was the opposition that kept shedding crocodile tears over the situation of people, the violence in Manipur. But when this important bill was getting introduced and passed and discussed, there was no sight of the opposition in the parliament. And she in fact said all this just today after the Prime Minister accused the opposition of doing drama instead of focusing on delivery. Just listen in to what the Finance Minister said today.
24, we saw them shedding crocodile tears about Manipur for everything. And we brought in a bill for Manipur's budget, because again it was under the president's rule and the governor was doing it. We had to present the budget for Manipur. Even at that time, they did not participate in the debate. Even today, when the GST benefits have to go to the state government because they will otherwise not earn the revenue out of it, when we are trying to have an ordinance be converted to be a regular bill and get passed here to become an act, they are not here to participate.
Well, shifting focus now, Vasudha, to the big national exchange over privacy concerns versus consumer protection after orders from the Department of Telecommunication to every smartphone maker and importer to pre-install the government's Sanchar Sathi app. Union Telecom Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia today clarified that users can delete the app if they wish to, and it's not forced on them. While the push for the app, officials say, is to help curb mobile frauds and cyber crimes, critics and opposition have raised serious privacy concerns as the app could virtually access all data from your call records from a cell phone, Vasudha.
That's right, Veera. In fact, the opposition has called it a snooping app and said that this is all for surveillance, and it has questioned accountability from the government, while Jyotiraditya Scindia, the telecom minister, has said that it is possible to uninstall it. It's completely voluntary, and it's just there for security of citizens. But clearly, this is a debate that's going to continue, because this clearly is a debate between privacy, accountability, and more importantly, what is really safe for us and what is not. Before we get in our guest, our expert for the evening, let's listen into how the opposition reacted to Sanchar Sathi app and how Jyotiraditya Scindia, the minister in charge for communications and telecom, spoke about it, clarifying everything that he could.
अगर आप इसको अपने फोन पे रखना चाहते हो तो रखो, अगर आप इसको डिलीट करना चाहते हो तो डिलीट करो। जिस तरीके से, उदाहरण के तौर पर आपके फोन पे जब आप फोन खरीदते हो तो उस पर कई ऐप्स आ जाती हैं, जैसे गूगल मैप्स भी आ जाता है। अब आपको गूगल मैप इस्तेमाल नहीं करना है तो आप डिलीट कर लो। अगर आपको संचार साथी इस्तेमाल नहीं करना है तो डिलीट कर दो।
इसका मतलब ये ऑप्शनल है सर।
ऑब्वियसली डिलीट कर सकते हो आप। ये कस्टमर प्रोटेक्शन की बात है और हर भ्रम को मैं तोड़ने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ। आपको डिलीट करना है तो आप डिलीट कर दोगे। आप कोई मैंडेटरी नहीं है। आप अगर रजिस्टर नहीं करना चाहते, मतलब कि उदाहरण के तौर पे इस ऐप का उपयोग नहीं करना चाहते तो रजिस्टर मत करो।
You're calling it a snooping app, so you know what it is then. Well, you said snooping app, so it is a snooping app. I mean, clearly, it's ridiculous. Now, where else do they want to, I mean, citizens have their right to privacy. Even all of you must be having a right to privacy to send your own messages to family, friends, without the government looking at everything. It's not just one thing. It's not just snooping on the telephones. It's overall. They are turning this country into a dictatorship in every form. You ask me every day why Parliament is not functioning. It's not functioning because they're refusing to talk about anything. So it's very easy to blame the opposition, but the fact is they are not allowing any discussion on anything, and that is not democracy.
This is Orwellian. This is Big Brother wanting to get into your private life. A smartphone is no longer just a phone to make calls. It is a repository of all your memories, of all your private conversations, of data, of information. The government wants to get into that. This is a complete invasion into your personal and private space. Democracies don't behave like this. Free societies don't behave like this. This is an assault on individual freedom and liberty. I mean, has this government suddenly come up with a tool which is completely, which no other country has come up? The only other country which is using this kind of a tool is Russia. This is like basically installing Pegasus in everybody's phone.
We have Mukesh Chaudhary with
joining us now.
He's a cyber expert. Thank you, Mr. Chaudhary, for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Mukesh Chaudhary, for joining us. He's a cyber expert. Mr. Chaudhary, help us understand, is an app like Sanchar Sathi the right way to deal with cyber fraud or even misuse of IMEI phones, something that we've been hearing about quite often? Is this the right way to go about this?
Hello, good evening. So basically, government is just pushing the application to be pre-installed in the mobile phones. It's a good step. It's a welcoming step. And as the respective authorities, they are also saying that it's an optional app. In case you want to uninstall it, you can install it. And when it comes to right to privacy, yes, if people don't want to give access to any particular application, it is their right. They can remove the access. So it is an optional move. So first of all, it is not a question of right to privacy or not, because it is again optional. It is not a mandatory thing, and it is not a binded application which you can't remove generally by default. So it is actually good. And how these applications help, because government is trying to push people and aware people a lot that you should install these applications. These kind of applications are
Mr. Mukesh, when you say that, isn't it true that when an app is pre-installed and it comes to you with your phone, there are going to be concerns about what you're agreeing for, what you're not agreeing for? Aren't these concerns genuine, A? And B, hasn't there been a backtracking from the government? The DOT comes and says it will be pre-installed. Now the Union Communication Minister says that it is optional.